Welcome to Motostate Podcast, where we chat about motorcycles, life, and everything in between.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Motostate Podcast. For those of you out there that is actually just listening for the very first time, my name's Ryan, and I have Luke with me. And we are going to just kind of introduce ourselves, tell you what our podcast is going to be about, tell you kind of, a little bit about the direction. We'll tell you about ourselves maybe a little bit of origin stories. I don't know. And after that, we'll kind of let you know what the future holds for the Motostate Podcast, what our intentions are with the Motostate Podcast, and we hope that you guys are going to be down for this journey with us, that you're going to be into supporting us. And this episode's going to be a little bit different, I think, than what we would typically see when we get out here and launch the actual podcast, because this is episode number 1, season 1, episode 1 of the Motostate Podcast.
This is the OG, the original, and I just want to first off say, holy shit, we're finally doing this, because we've been talking about this for a while, and certainly been a vision of mine for quite some time, and I'm thankful that Ryan and I are doing this journey together, and I hope you guys enjoy the show, and as Ryan said, support us, and come along with this ride with us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so those of you out there in podcast land, if you are looking for a motorcycle podcast, well, you found one. If you're looking for a motorcycle podcast that's not just a motorcycle podcast, well, you found that too. So Luke and I are not going to just talk about motorcycles. We're going to talk about, probably whatever comes to our mind. The reason why we were brought together was motorcycles. So I'm going to throw this one over to Luke, because I think it'd be a really good idea to let everybody out there know what the origin story is, because Luke and I do not live anywhere near each other, and we don't really share any friends. And so we kind of met by happenstance, but it's not my story, actually. It's Luke's story to tell. So I'm going to have him go ahead and tell you that story.
Yeah, definitely nowhere close to one another. I'm coming from St. Louis, Missouri, where I can see the top of the arch from my front yard, and Ryan's coming from you damn near to Canada, basically, up in North Dakota. He can smell the maple syrup from where he lives. But
True.
Yeah, we met almost 3 years ago in Uranus, Missouri to be exact, and we were there for another podcast meetup, and happened to meet there, and it was hot as hell. It was awful temperature wise, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. I rode down with 3 friends of mine to check it out. They were listeners of this particular podcast, and I had never listened to a podcast in my entire life until right after this meetup. And
holy shit, is that true? You'd never even listened to it?
Swear to God. No,
that right
never.
There was something that I just learned like 5 seconds ago. So I did not know that. That's
honest to God truth. Yeah. So there was the meetup and giveaways. I think everybody in the group won something. So we were meeting all the folks from the podcast, Ryan being one of them. And we started talking about riding and both being girl dads, about our kids riding with us. And that's something that stuck with me after that. It wasn't often in my journey at that point of riding motorcycles that I had a lot of conversations with folks about kids riding with you. And so that definitely stuck with me. From there, I started listening to podcasts. Started listening to that one and a ton of others. And that really, for me, changed my life in the motorcycle world and got me even more into riding than I already was. It gave me it opened up the avenue of not just hog chapter rides, but what folks were doing, riding across country and doing different things. And that's how we met. And it's really kind of a full circle moment right now where now we're both working on this damn podcast together. And who would have ever thought that 3 years ago in Uranus? So here we are, and pretty excited about it.
Yeah, that's it's funny that you say that, because I, number one, did not know that you hadn't listened to any podcasts, but I do specifically remember, because when Luke and I connected about 7 or 8 months ago, when he came on the podcast, I said to him, I'm like, Luke, you were the guy that came up to me and asked me about riding with my daughter, weren't you? And he said, yeah, I was. And so that was kind of that kind of watershed moment where we connected on that, on that level. And I would agree with you in one respect, which is, I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm going to say that both social media and podcasts in general really did kind of the same thing for me as what you're talking about. It really made me look at writing a whole lot differently, only in respect to maybe how I was looking at what I was doing. And, I started a YouTube channel. I really put myself out there, because the community of riding has changed, right? I mean, 25, 30, 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago, whatever, when everybody was riding, the only way that you connected to other riders was to go to events and to go to things. And we all know now that, social media has really changed that, because now, we're connected to riders all over the country, different communities of people. I just went camping this weekend with some guys. That is another story for a whole nother podcast. But
Yes, it is.
They were all people that I connected with, through social media. So it was I think that there are some people, I think, that have kind of that love-hate relationship with social media and motorcycling. There are people that think that social media is ruining motorcycling, and I feel entirely differently about it. I think that social media has enhanced motorcycling. I think it's brought motorcycling to more people. I think that it's a very healthy thing. I think it absolutely can be destructive and whatever. But the thing is, for us, is that it's part of our origin story, right? Without social media, without podcasts, without that aspect of the community right now, we never would have connected. We never would have crossed paths. And so, it's just one of those things that I think has changed.
Yeah, there's always good things and bad things about social media, and there always will be.
Yeah.
And if you dwell on the negative, you'll look at social media as nothing but trash, when that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
I live 500 miles from my entire family, and sometimes with some of my family who I don't talk to on a regular basis, they can hop on Facebook and they can see what's going on in my life and my daughter's life, and that's a big deal. But also, to your point, it's brought motorcycling to a lot of people and opened up their eyes to a lot of motorcyclists that maybe, they live in a small town. They don't have a lot of other motorcyclists around them. Like, oh, this is what people are doing in St. Louis or North Dakota or Dallas or California or wherever. And like, oh, okay, or I would have never known about this spot. Or, for me, I've gone to some bike nights in other states that I would have never known about if it wasn't for social media. And
yeah.
I've have made friends with those folks since then. I've only met them once, but we stayed in touch through Instagram or whatever social media platform.
Yeah, all the mods and everything that I've done to my bike have been like a amalgamation of different ideas, but none of them have come from the upper Midwest, right? We're the last place that like trends land. And so by the time a trend lands with us, it's ended everywhere else in the country. So
you just got rid of your big wheel bagger, last week?
Yeah, yeah, shit. Big wheel baggers are still a thing up here, right? We have long straight roads. So, but no, for real. My friends and I were talking about it, and we all have, quote unquote performance baggers, right? Or performance looking baggers, or whatever you want to call it. It's
sure.
We have kind of, we've dove into that trend or whatever. But there aren't a lot of those styles around here. You're still seeing high bars and big wheels around here, right? You're still seeing get back whips and these kind of things. And I'm not criticizing that part of the community. I'm just saying, like, that's not my jam. And so, when we go out or we go places or we're on our bikes in this area, there aren't a lot of bikes that look like ours. And so, and that's in this area. There are a lot of bikes that look like ours, everywhere else in the country, but just sure. Not here. But I digress. We're getting like deep into a topic already, and this is episode number 1. It was episode number 1, right? So
why you're pissing people off already? Way to go,
right,
Ryan.
right. I mean, appreciate it. If you know me from outside of here, that's what I do. I piss people off. So this shouldn't be any different either, Luke. So good luck to you.
Yeah, pray for me, everybody.
Yeah,
pray for me.
Right,
yeah.
everybody's gonna be like, they're gonna be like messaging Luke. They're like, how do you work with this guy? He's such an asshole.
Well, we live over 1,000 miles apart. That's probably why.
Ooh, that could be. That could be.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's good.
No, yeah.
But anyway, so I think that let's talk a little bit. Let's tell everybody a little bit about what our vision for the Motostate podcast. So why don't you? I'm going to let you go ahead and kind of throw that out there to everybody.
Yeah, I think anyone that's maybe already hopped on Instagram or Facebook or wherever and even just looked at our profile, you'll see that I think our kind of our tagline, so to say, is we talk about motorcycles and life and everything in between, and I think that's very accurate. We're going to talk about other hobbies. We're going to talk about being a parent, whether that's a girl dad, a boy dad, or you got 10 kids, whatever. We're going to talk about parenting. We're going to talk about relationships, whether it's your significant other, whether that's marriage or not, and how you fit motorcycling and your other hobbies into this. I mean, that's a struggle with probably a lot of us, where we are working full time. We're parents. We got not an intense hobby, but a really fun hobby that takes time. I mean, if you want to get a good ride in, it's oftentimes, at least for me, I don't want to go on a 30-minute ride. I want to go on a 3-hour ride or maybe a 3-day ride, but that's really hard. But how do you make time for that? And so again, we're going to talk about those things, and again, whatever comes to mind. What's maybe trending at that point, whether it's the motorcycle community or life in general.
Yeah. And the great thing about motorcycling is there's no way you can be that you can have a drug habit or a drinking problem and be a motorcyclist at the same time. Because it is not cheap, right? You can't do both. You can't do cocaine and have a nice motorcycle. It's just the reality. It's too expensive.
That's right. Exactly. Because one's going to have to go sooner.
Right.
Or
exactly.
It's sooner.
Exactly.
Later. So
exactly.
Yeah,
right.
For sure. Yeah. That's So I'm a banker by trade, and if you follow me on Instagram, banker on a Harley. So I preface this statement with that bit of knowledge. But as I do my budget every year and figure out, all right, how much money am I going to spend on vacation, and how much money am I going to spend on whatever else, tuition for my daughter, and motorcycle parts, and I always set a certain number, knowing that I'm probably going to blow it out of the water within reason. And to your point, it's not cheap owning a motorcycle, because there's always something you want to do to it. You're never done. I mean,
right.
Ryan said he's been done with his bike 3 different times since I've known him.
For sure.
And,
for sure.
And he says he's done now, but I say bullshit. So.
Yeah. In fact, when I went camping this time, everybody that saw my bike, which was significantly different than the last time they had seen it, they were like, "So is it done now?" And I was like, "Well, I told you it was done the last time you saw it, right?" So, I mean,
done for now.
Yeah, done for now. That's exactly what I said this time. I said it's done for now, right? So,
yeah,
no,
next time.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the idea, right? Is that Motostate podcast is going to be motorcycles and everything in between. And so, that being said, if there's something that you guys want us to talk about, motorcycle or non-motorcycle related, if there's a guest you'd like to see us have on the podcast, motorcycle or non-motorcycle related, hit us up on Instagram, drop a message, let us know what you think. And we'll do our best to, either discuss that topic and or get that guest on. I'm going to be totally honest, though. Luke and I have not done this a lot together. And so we probably won't be having any guests on till we are, a few episodes in. I'm thinking probably 8 to 10 episodes in is before we're going to start really thinking about guests, because, we need to get this chemistry down. We need to, we need to spoon a little bit before we can bring partners into this. I mean, that's just how that has to be. So. But that's not to say that we won't. We will have guests on. We've talked about that, and we know that's something that we want to do. We know that that's a great way for content, and it's also a good way to bring ideas that aren't ours to the table. And so it'll be important for us to make sure that we do that. But we want to do that at the right time, when it's going to be, really the time and the right time and place for us to do that. So just keep that in mind. While I'm not new to podcasting, Luke is, but we are new as a unit. And so it's going to take us a minute to kind of get our cadence down and all of the things that make good podcasts. So that's just part of the, kind of part of the process too.
Yeah. Keep in mind, folks, we're not doing this for a living. We have other jobs and a whole nother life, and we're doing this out of the passion and love for motorcycling and just life in general. And so that being said, we're open to constructive feedback. If it's not perfect, or you didn't like the guest or our topic, or we're going to fumble over our words plenty. It's just going to happen, folks. And I hope you laugh at us and with us, because we'll be laughing at ourselves and laughing at each other and giving each other hell often when that happens. So have fun and give us a little grace, especially early on. And that being said, too, you're gonna find us on all the social media platforms. You'll find us on the web, motorstatepodcast.com, which will have a link to Discord. We'll have a link to merch store. Have a link to Patreon. And I'll be honest with you, I have never built a website in my life, and I've built this one. And if you don't like it, but sorry, if you have any constructive feedback or have more experience doing it, I'll welcome any feedback. But you'll be able to find us on that and be able to support us through those links as well, and obviously find episodes as we stack these up over the next several months and hopefully years to come. And hope you like it.
Yeah, Luke's open to feedback. I'm not. You guys can fuck off. So I'm just going to be honest.
I'll just try and be nice. Fuck
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. No, it should be a good time. The other thing that I want to make clear through this process too is that Luke and I are going to do our best to give our opinions. We're by no means experts on anything that we're going to be talking about, so don't hold us liable for any of the bullshit that might come out of our mouths. The other thing too, that just kind of think about it in these terms, is that just kind of be respectful of the process, right? And just kind of what I mean by that is that we're probably not going to be getting into anything too divisive. We're probably not going to be getting anything. Luke and I have talked a little bit about topics that we will and won't do. Kind of before, it's the same kind of scenario. Religion and politics are probably going to be off the table. And it's really not because Luke and I have opinions on those things, right? But what we don't want to do is we don't want to present a media platform where that becomes what we're about, because that's really not what we're about, right? I know that we both are looking for a positive scenario. We want to bring something to the podcasting community. And I say podcasting community instead of saying motorcycling community, because we are going to be talking about things other than motorcycling. So, that's kind of the inception of the name when we were talking about it, is we wanted a name that harkened to motorcycles, but it wasn't just or solely about motorcycles. And I know that we're kind of stressing this path, but the reason why is that, we know going into this that a big section of our audience is going to come from the motorcycling world, but we are interested in things and talking about things outside of that. I mean, I told Luke that, we can talk about other hobbies. I don't have any other hobbies that I give a shit about besides motorcycling, but I certainly have an opinion. And I think that, we'll probably, at some point do our best to have things that are motorcycle adjacent, for sure, right? That would tie in, that kind of thing. So, but like I said, if there's something that you want to hear us talk about, if you want to hear us rap about, if you want to hear us debate about or whatever, put it up below. I will say this, when we talk about controversial things, Luke and I have talked a little bit about it, and I think the controversy, what I'm looking forward to, is when there's a topic or a situation that happens that we don't agree on. Because I think that's when the discord comes in, right? Is that time when maybe there's something that we don't. And I remember when we had Luke on as a guest on one of the other podcasts, he and I actually really disagreed on the Buell Super Cruiser. I kind of liked the bike, and Luke was like, I fucking hate it. I hate this bike. And so, But those kind of things, I think, are things that I'm looking forward to, because I think that it's going to add a little spice to it, right? And not just present this kind of like super polished, hey, guess what? These two guys are doing this podcast, and they agree on everything, so everything is roses and rainbows and butterflies
rainbows
and
unicorns, yeah.
right? Exactly. Yeah. So no, I think and that's that's okay too from that perspective, but. It should be a lot of fun. I think that podcasting has gotten to be such a saturated market, and again, I think it'll be another topic that we can discuss in the future about how do you make your mark now in a such a heavy market where everybody has podcasts, and so many celebrities and people that already have a voice and already have a following and already are getting into this same space. And so to make your mark, to become something is a feat among on its own. And so I'm hoping that we have a good showing. That's my kind of my what I'd like to hang my hat on, is that we can have a good showing, that we can really that we have a good audience, and we have a good group of people that want to hear what we have to say, and that we entertain them. So don't be fucking boring, Luke. Jesus Christ.
Well, if you let me get a fucking word in, maybe I wouldn't be boring. No, but to Ryan's point, like, listen, if you like it, then tell your friends, share it on social media. We would appreciate that. That's how this thing grows, is organically, and getting some traction with folks that like it, and then they share that with the people they know and love and think they will enjoy it as well. So it's up to you guys to spread the word if you like it, and we appreciate that love. Ryan, why don't we take a minute or two? We haven't really even introduced ourselves, like who we are.
Maybe Jesus.
Take a few minutes now that you've come up for air, and why don't you introduce yourself, tell everyone a little bit about you, and then when you can finally take a breath, I'll introduce myself.
That sounds great. He knows me too well already. He's like, Jesus Christ, this guy never shuts up. So for those of you that don't know, my name's Ryan. I go by KidMoto22 on Instagram, on YouTube. I do have my own YouTube channel where I have, my YouTube channel is pretty much all motorcycle content. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty much what it is. I don't do anything really but motorcycles, talk about motorcycles, work on motorcycles. Motorcycle camping is on there.
Yep.
But like I said, Ryan, KidMoto22. I've been married a really long time. Almost 30 years here, coming up pretty soon.
You're old.
Yeah,
God,
dude.
You're old.
Dude, in a month, almost a month from today, I have a milestone birthday, so I'll be.
Happy 60th.
Yeah, fuck you. Hey, he's not that far off. I'm closer to 60 than I am to 40. So I'll turn 50 in a month. I have a wonderful wife that is totally supportive of all my hijinks and motorcycle shit, and she just kind of knows that's all a part of who I am. It's not a part of what I do. It's a part of who I am. I have two beautiful daughters, one who just graduated high school and is going to be starting college here pretty soon, and I'm excited and super nervous about this transition in her life. And my youngest daughter, who I think is going to, of my two daughters, is going to be a motorcyclist. She's fierce, and she is opinionated, and she's strong-willed, and I love all of those things about her. The world will never take advantage of my youngest daughter. So those are that's me in a nutshell.
What do you ride? But what's
I
in
like,
the garage?
I like to cuss a lot. That you'll guys will find that out really quick. I cuss like a sailor.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I ride?
Yeah. What's in the garage?
So I have a 2017 Road King Special that looks nothing like a 2017 Road King Special. There's actually a picture behind me. If those of you are going to watch it on YouTube, that was about 4 or 5 years ago. The bike looks nothing like that now. I think the only stock parts on it are the motor, and the motor's not completely stock. I've done some work to the motor, the gas tank, but no, the badges aren't stock, and the frame. Everything else pretty much on that bike I have replaced or changed, and I've changed some things multiple times. I like to call it a performance touring bike because I got teased about 3 years ago from the guys at S&S about my performance looking bagger. Which has become a running joke for a long time. Since then, I've upgraded the suspension. I've upgraded the motor. I have a 2-in-1 exhaust. So I mean, I took it to heart when those guys, the guys from S&S jump on you. I took it to heart and made some changes. But I love that bike. That's my touring bike. That's my everyday bike. And then I have a 1985 FXRT. That a really good friend of mine, you're going to hear me say my buddy Bob, because Bob's a really good friend of mine. He found it for me in a shed. I can't take any credit for that. I wasn't looking to buy a bike, and I'll be 100% honest here. 100% honest. It runs, but I have not started it since I brought it home 2 years ago. So it is a almost pristine, unmolested 1985 FXR. It has a stock exhaust on it.
Does it really? I didn't know that.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It is so stock. It has had nothing done to it. It's got a trailer hitch is like the only thing on it that's aftermarket. Everything on that bike is Harley Davidson. And so, to find one like that that's completely unmolested is, almost impossible. It did run because I brought it home. I backed it off the trailer and I rode it around the block. And really, it needs new tires really bad, right? That's like the first thing. And so I think if I should have bit the bullet and just bought new tires and had them put on right away. But I had a little issue with our local shop. And so I think that's really what held me back. If my local shop would have been a little bit better, I probably would have brought it over there right away and put new tires on it. But they did some work on 3 of my friends' bikes, and they messed them all up. And so, and we don't have a Harley dealer anymore. That place closed, and I don't even know if they would. I don't even know if a Harley dealer would put tires on a bike that age. And so, so that's the issue that I'm having. And so we've actually a few of us have talked about buying a tire changer and doing it ourselves, so that
Good old Harbor Freight.
Yeah, for sure, right. So we've actually really talked about getting one of those tools to whatever those machines are to change tires yourself. But I'm looking forward to it. I did buy it really with the idea that I was going to get it up and running and make it stockish. But I keep on finding things that I want to do to my other bike, so that ends up being where I put my money. But I never do anything to my other bike. I always have to have I want to be one of those guys that has a running bike and a bike to work on, right? The bike to tinker with. That's kind of the idea with the FXR. So many things need to be done to it to get it like up to snuff. I have to replace the fork seals. The carburetor needs to be cleaned and rejetted, and all of the fuel lines need to be replaced. The fuel tank needs to be flushed. All the fluids need to be changed. I mean, like those, if I did a few, I would guess I'm probably $400, $500 maybe, and it would be a runner, but that's not including tires, right? So they're,
Sure.
I'm probably at about $1,000 to get it so I could just drive it around the block and take it to the bar or whatever. But for me, I kind of looked at it more like a legacy. For those of you that don't know, and maybe you do, the 1985 FXRT was the very first bike that I ever rode, and it was brand new. My mom's ex-husband had one, and we have a picture of me on that bike when I was like 8 or 9 years old. And so that's kind of my history. I happened to find one that's an 85, and it's the same colorway and everything of the bike that I had that I was on back then. So that's really why I bought it. was just for that sole purpose. So I've already talked enough. I'm out of air. I'm out of breath. I'm out of words. So your turn, Luke.
It's a good story though. I like that. That's a bike with meaning and purpose. So guys, Luke, originally from Knoxville, Tennessee, moved to St. Louis in 2006. I am the proud dad of a 13-year-old daughter named Sophia, who definitely has my heart and me wrapped around her little finger, as most dads are with their daughters. She used to ride on the back of my motorcycle, and now she's 13 and is more worried about makeup and skincare products to get on a motorcycle. So hopefully that changes one day. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so been in St. Louis since '06. Live in the city. You can see the top of the arch from the front yard. Been in the banking business since 1998, and do commercial real estate lending across the U.S. Work here from home. For riding wise, I'm actually one of those guys that got into riding later in life. Let me stop. Hold on. I have a girlfriend. I need to make sure I mention her, or I'll be up Schitt's Creek with no paddle. So I have a girlfriend who we actually went to high school and college together. She lives down in Nashville, and we've been together about almost 3 years, a little over 2.5 years. I think that's the way she can put up with me, is that we live about 325 miles apart. So that's the only reason she can put up with me, is doesn't have to see me every day. But back to riding, I got into riding later in life. I got my first bike in 2019. It was a 2006 Heritage, and it was actually my late uncle's first Harley he ever bought. He bought it brand new, and so I bought it off the estate and rode that for a couple of years, about 3 years. But in 21, I bought a Street Glide, brand new. Fell in love with the color. And that's really been my everyday bike up until about a year ago. Love that thing, take it on long rides. And so in the midst of that, I actually sent the Heritage back to Tennessee. And my cousin Amy, who's my late uncle's only kid, a daughter, she's riding it now. And they live real close to the Dragon and the Parkway and all that there. So her and her husband ride Harleys, and she's riding the Heritage. But I have a 2000 FXR4 and in the garage as well. And fun story around that, I actually won it in a raffle. So as I joke, is the best $75 I ever spent. It'd been completely rebuilt, motor work, frame was powder coated, everything blacked out on it. It's a lot of fun. It's great to rip around, especially in the city or even longer rides. But that's been a lot of fun, a lot different than my Street Glide. But that thing's fun. It's great. So as Ryan was saying, like one bike to tinker with, one it's kind of a daily. Definitely the Street Glide I don't tinker with too much. I mean I've done upgrades, cam and all that stuff. I didn't do the work. I'm still learning how to do those things. But new side covers, new front fender. That stuff I can do. That's easy. On the FXR, I'm kind of learning on how to work on things, especially with a carburetor. So shout out to some guys that have been helping me with that and learn the process and how to do those things right, not just be a YouTube certified mechanic. So it's been a lot of fun. So that's me in a nutshell, and not as long-winded as some people. But
Jesus Christ, guys, all over me already.
I'm coming out swinging. I know it's going to come. I know it's going to come back on me at some point. So I might as well get ahead of the curve. But
that's true.
So that's me in a nutshell. You can find me on Instagram, Banker on Harley. I have a YouTube channel that I've never posted anything to, but look forward to doing a little more on that. But that's I'm on TikTok, but I've posted maybe 5 things. But Instagram's really my where I do most of my social media stuff and have a lot of fun with it. I don't take any of it serious. I like connecting with folks and posting stuff about my bike and trying to post some jokes and stuff that's funny. And so if you don't follow me, please give me a follow. Love to follow you back and get to know you guys. And again, thank you all for for tuning in this long. We're about 30 minutes in, and hopefully everyone's still listening.
Right. Hey, I do want to mention too. You talked about how we're going to have a website and a merch store and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I did want to put it out there. Obviously, Discord, Patreon, those kind of things to support us, because as many of you guys know that this kind of stuff isn't free. It's free for you, which is great, right? But it's not free for us to do. So any way, if you can find it in your heart to support us, that would be great. However, I would like to tell you this: we are going to be posting starting from jump day one. The podcast will go out as a podcast. It'll also go out on YouTube. So now there's going to be one caveat, is that it takes a while for everything to go through from a podcast format, where YouTube is instantaneous. So until we know that our podcast is on all of the podcast platforms, then we will start posting the videos so you may be able to listen to us on a podcast format before YouTube, but either way, we really would appreciate it if you get out there, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, because all that is support from our perspective. We do know that they're typically two separate audiences, both on YouTube and podcast land, but we will be promoting both of those things. So it's important. Sometimes you get a different view from being able to see somebody versus just listening to it. Some people like to listen to it, where how they consume it. I'm not going to judge. You guys do whatever you want to as far as that goes. So we have two separate logos. The one Motostate that you see that we have on here is kind of our very standard logo that you'll probably see on most of our stuff. We also have a really cool one with a motorcycle. It is an FXR, by the way. But that's kind of more motorcycle centric. We'll have stickers, that kind of stuff. So the usual kind of social media stuff. Yeah, there's our other logo with the motorcycle. Yeah. So that Luke's showing you for those people watching us on YouTube. But yeah, that's that's kind of out there. I was going to ask you, Luke. You were telling me, or you were just telling everybody about yourself. You potentially are one of the first people that I've talked to that did not. So you never owned a Sportster or started on a Sportster?
No, you first bike was a Heritage.
And that's cool, right? I mean, the Heritage is a really easy bike to ride comparatively to a lot of the other ones. It's a really good motorcycle. But man, because we always joked on the last podcast, everybody that was on there had started on a Sportster at one point in time. So we all own Sportsters, which was also kind of funny, that you could go back and look at all of our social media, and we all had Sportsters on there before we had whatever
Sure.
other bike that we were posting. So that was something that connected us all. But kind of a cool story. I've told a lot of people. I mean, starting on a Heritage is not a bad thing at all. Heritage is easier to ride than a Sportster, in my opinion.
I agree.
A Sportster is a top-heavy motorcycle. It is not the easiest bike to ride. So many people start on it because it's one of the cheapest ones, but it's not so super easy like people might like to think, because it feels a lot heavier because it's so thin, so narrow and tall. It feels heavier than it is. It's top-heavy. But I mean, they're hella fun if you build them out a little bit, But
oh, sure, yeah. The Heritage was great. I mean, that thing rode smooth, bigger tank, soft tail frames, always, a lot more comfortable than any Sportster. But, yeah, that was, for me, a great bike. And honestly, it probably saved me a ton of money, because if I started on a Sportster, that would have lasted maybe a year. And then I would have wanted something bigger, faster, like most of us do. So,
yeah.
And the sentimental value piece of it, like your FXR,
right?
That's something that that bike will be in the family for me forever. Sophia knows that could be her first motorcycle if she wants it to be. So
it's really interesting too, because the Sportster itself, and Harley doesn't do it anymore because obviously that platform's gone. But there was a period of time when they had their God, what did they call it? There was a program that Harley started. I don't know, it was Sunshine program or whatever. I don't remember what it was called. But there's a name for this trade-in program where if you bought a Sportster and you traded up in your first year, you got the value of the bike. You got exactly what you paid for it. So,
Really?
yeah, a ton of people I knew did that. They bought a brand new Sportster and then just traded it in because they got exactly what they paid for it. They didn't lose a nickel because Harley could just turn those bikes over.
Sure.
Yeah, so it was, it was a good deal for them because most people would make a payment on it for, 10 or 11 months, and then before that year came up, they traded it in on a Softail because they traded up because they outgrew it, and then Harley would turn around and sell that bike for it'd be less, could be a used motorcycle, but for Harley it was a win-win because you paid on it for a year. You know what I mean? So
right, yeah. So they were financing it themselves, so they had that interest income.
And then they turned around and just sold you another bike. So I forgot what that was called, but there was a name of that program that was pretty popular. But like a bunch of my friends used that program and was good for them. But yeah, it's
a good idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is episode 1, Luke. What else do we want to put out there? Are we missing anything? Or is there anything out there that we should be telling people about us, about the podcast, about our... Oh, I know. I thought of one thing. We're going to post once a week.
Yes.
There may be a rare occasion where we would maybe post twice a week if we have episode 1 and 2. The other thing that I do want to put out there, and I'm just setting expectations, you guys kind of know, we are not really intending on necessarily hitting that 60-minute mark for our podcast length either. Our podcasts might be shorter in nature because we don't want to just fill all the space with me talking or random bullshit. We do want to try to stay on topic, and we want it to be able to be easy to consume, right? Luke and I both listen to other podcasts, and there are some podcasts out there that are super long, 3, 4, 5 hours long. I shouldn't say 5; those are rare, right? But certainly 2 or 3 hours long. And it takes a long time to get through a podcast like that. We want to make it easy to consume, so you're kind of looking forward to the next one. The only caveat to that is if we have a guest on and things are like really flowing with the guest and we are not done talking about a topic, we're not going to cut it off. We're going to, extend that podcast, and then it would be probably a part 1 or part 2. Could come out, the next week, or could come out later in the same week. But that's the intention is really to do, to stay consistent and do that, kind of one podcast a week kind of launch. The only caveat to that is this: July 1. If you're listening to this, would be the day drop of this podcast, and the next one will come on July 7. And so our intention is to drop our podcast on Mondays. Mondays is a good day, first day of the week. You know what I mean? Why not start off your week good with a good podcast listen? And then you have that kind of thing to look forward to at the beginning of every week. So.
We're just trying to, bring some sunshine to your Monday with the new episode.
Bring some sunshine.
Or whatever.
Bring the rainbows. We're going to bring the rainbows.
Fucking rainbows and unicorns, buddy. Here we come. So. No, and thank you for bringing that up. You're exactly right. Yeah, once a week is our goal. There may be some exceptions to that. Hopefully they're good ones. And if we go over 30, 45 minutes, it's because it's a topic that deserves the attention, or a guest that is, has got a lot of good things to say, and we're vibing well, and that may be a little bit longer episode, and it also may be 2 episodes, and that's not a bad thing either.
Right. So, well, I mean, that's probably the nuts and bolts of episode number 1. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, so get on Discord, check out the website, buy some merch. This shit ain't free. We like to break even.
We're gonna make a shirt that says this shit ain't free.
This shit ain't free. Cutting into my motorcycle parts budget for the year. So, but yeah, if you can support us, Patreon's going to be out. We're going to have a couple different levels on that. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, $5 a month and $10 a month, 2 different levels. If you feel like showing us some love that way, we'd greatly appreciate it as well. And there will be some extra perks for Patreon members that are at the $10 level, and we'll get more into that on later episodes. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Number 1 down.
Yeah.
Holy shit, we got through it.
We got through it.
We
Yeah.
didn't hate each other yet.
We've been talking about this for a while. Like, when are we going to do this? When are we going to do this? And it takes a hot minute. And Luke and I are both busy guys. And I started a new job like 10 months ago. Luke started a new job. Today was your first day, right? First day on the new job, right? So
yeah, I actually should be working right now.
Well,
Fuck it, here I am.
There we
just
go.
kidding.
Should be working right now. No.
I'm joking.
But anyway, yeah. So like Luke said, give it a listen, get out there and support us. And yeah, that's it, man. We're out. The Motorcycle Podcast,
right, guys.
Motostate Podcast, episode number 1 is done. Thank you.
See y'all next week.